Adam Boeler, one of the founding members of the Trump administration's Operation Warp Speed, joins us now. Adam, Warp Speed did things that we were really not sure could be done in the very beginning of this, turning around vaccines in record time. But the question at this point is, what good is it if people won't get it?
Well, I think it's certainly been good in that a good number of people have gotten it. But, the interesting thing about this story is people sometimes view it as partisan one way or the other. Taking vaccines and vaccine development has to be one of the most bipartisan things ever, despite the fact that people portray it different. So Operation Warp Speed, driven by the Trump administration. Not a lot of people know this, but everyone told us it was impossible. I was a founding member. We interviewed the 4 finalist candidates before we chose Moncef Slaoui to run it, and 3 of the 4 said it wasn't possible. Moncef was the only one that told us it was possible, just to give you a sense of what we were up against. So if you ask me, probably the greatest or one of the greatest accomplishments of the Trump administration is the successful development and acceleration of vaccines, where before, the soonest and the quickest a vaccine was developed was probably 2 years.
Right.
So, one, let's recognize the value there. And also recognize the fact that, President Trump was vaccinated himself and has been very clear about that.
Then why is there the political divide on it, Adam? It's uncertain why the R versus D, the red versus blue. After all the work you've done, what would you say about the apparent political division with this?
It's a funny thing how political waves go. I mean, I think about people that didn't get vaccines before. It was the left side of things, and in wealthy counties, and things shift left and right depending on dialogue and what's out there. I think what's important, and you saw Sarah Sanders,
right,
or her op-ed. I think it should be very clear. The president himself got it. The president's children have the vaccine. People in the administration, senior people, including me, we all have the vaccine. We took the vaccine. We developed the vaccine. So I think we've got to get it out of our heads that it's a left or right or Republican or Democrat area, because you see that this is a choice that shouldn't be oriented toward
right,
political or not. They work.
Right. And for those who didn't see the op-ed, Sarah Huckabee Sanders calling it the Trump vaccine. let's talk about some more of the pushback, Adam, while we do have you. What would you say to people who are waiting for full FDA approval, wanting more data on this? They say the emergency use isn't good enough for them.
I mean, I think so the best thing I think now that the FDA and that the CDC can do, especially now on the mask side, is release very specific data. And the data I think that should be released is who is greatly impacted by coronavirus. And if you look at it, and I heard you talking before on whether children are safe. If you look at the outcomes for children, they tend to look quite good, really, really good on a COVID side. And so I think the important thing is let's break down and let's show the specific data. I think people get scared because of anecdotal cases. So breakthrough cases, for example, there's a lot of coverage on that. Well, let's be clear, even at the high end, the Pfizer vaccine is about 97% effective. That means 3% of the time, people are going to get COVID. Nobody said it was 100%. So I think the key here is, okay, what happens by category? And then that 3% breakthrough, what do their outcomes look like? Because I'll tell you, those are not, in general, the people in hospitals that are having bad outcomes. Right. So I think the CDC is making this, they should release very specific data on a regular basis. And let's empower our physicians to have the conversations, our physicians, our pharmacists, the people that are trusted in American communities. That's who should be telling, not the federal government, not state governments. Let's let our physicians and our pharmacists do their job.
More information certainly needed. Adam, before we let you go, do you think this turns around? Do more people get vaccinated as a result of the CDC's new mask recommendations?
I'm not sure they get more vaccinated because of the mask recommendation. I think they're getting more vaccinated as they see the outcomes of the vaccination. I mean, I do worry, obviously, on a mask mandate. It could create a disincentive. Now, I hope that doesn't happen. And I hope people do understand that your outcomes are phenomenally better if you get it with almost no adverse effects. So let's get the data out there to our docs. And I hope that people do follow that path.
Fascinating insight from Adam Boeler, who worked on Operation Warp Speed. Thanks for your time, Adam. We appreciate it.
Of course.